Without further ado, Fred Thomas. Fred, how are you?
Doing fine, thank you.
Fred, the last time I saw you was that very extravagant event the night in Massillon where they had every coach in college football there, I think. I think they were all there.
That was a neat night.
I think Newt Rockney wasn't there. Everybody else was there.
No, Earl took his place. Earl Bruce took his place.
Earl Bruce took his place. It was great to see you there. So many other guys. It just maybe that was just kind of a symbol of what Stark County, what football means to Stark County. If the Pro Football Hall of Fame is its greatest symbol, maybe an event like that where a high school team can draw to a June social event. 10, 15, 20 prominent college football coaches.
It was exciting to be there and see some old friends from Massillon.
Yeah.
Since I've been in the area for a long time.
I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I saw something that I couldn't stand, and I know it hurt you a lot more than it did me. I saw one of your players on crutches this morning. I just happened to coincidentally come down a stairway, and in coming in on crutches with a trainer was a young man, number 7, and I thought, I don't know who he is and what he plays, but this can't be good.
Well, it's camp's tough, and that's Cam Ingram, a freshman quarterback, came in to us from Hubbard, Ohio. He was injured this morning. Hopefully it's not serious. Hopefully, we have a great training crew here, great training staff, and a great team of doctors, so they're going to get him back as fast as they can.
Fred, start a little bit. We'll come back to some of your resume, some of your background, but just in terms of the transition the program's going through right now from the GLIAC to the GMAC, I think, in high school we talk so much in Ohio about kind of a buzzword or 2 words, competitive balance. Maybe Malone is going to be in a situation now in maybe many sports, but certainly in football, I would think competitively, you've got to be excited about this.
Yeah, the one thing that gives us a chance to play schools that are like us.
Pick on your own size a little bit.
Yeah, instead of doing the Grand Valleys of the world and the Wayne States, and they have great programs. They have phenomenal programs.
The D1s masquerading as D2s, you mean?
Yes, they could both compete with the in the 1AAs for sure. And,
yeah.
And it gives us people to play that are similar to us, which I think is really a benefit to us. It's going to benefit us. Down the road, it's going to really benefit Malone the whole athletic department, not just football.
Before I get into the teams that you guys will find as dance partners this year, certainly one of them, I almost wore a Cedarville shirt, but I thought you guys would throw me off the campus if I did. But they are the second most generous college in gear. Jack's trying to get me a nice T-shirt right now, as a matter of fact, but Jack Hazen. But those guys in your league, I love that. I think what a perfect, from the university mission standpoint,
yes.
and geographically, Southwest Ohio, they're kind of the exact balance in so many ways to Malone. What Malone is in Northeast Ohio, they might be to Southwest. What a perfect fit they are.
And if you remember, Coach Hazen and I are both old enough to remember the old Mid-Ohio Conference.
Oh, yeah.
This is very similar to a lot of those schools that matured and moved up a little bit, and then went, some from NAI to Division II, and so it really helps all of us.
So we will we'll come back to some of that. I saw recently on the internet, you guys had a big recruiting class, and then like another 16 or 20 more kids, and then like another 16 or 20. And I started reading through some names. Those are some football powers, and some kids that I recognized. It looks like you got like 50 or 60 incoming freshmen this year, Fred.
Well,
I mean, and some of those kids are some serious players.
Yeah, one of the things we looked at when we took over, our assistant coaches have done a great job of going out and recruiting, and most of our assistant coaches have recruited Ohio, which I thought was huge. Our line coach came from Notre Dame College, and our defense coordinator was recruiting Ohio, and when we took over, where do we have to go? One, we have to get more competition on the roster.
Yeah.
And the way to do that is you have to have numbers. Competition makes you better, and we had to up our numbers. The numbers were down. The numbers were down fairly low, and for whatever reason, and we didn't even talk about that. We didn't look back. We told our coaches and our players, we're going to look out the front window, not the rear view mirror, and we have to get to 120 players. And I believe we had 125 report to camp.
Wow.
Which is awesome. Well, I think it's awesome, and now we have to work on retention and working on getting them bigger and stronger. And to be truthful with you, I wouldn't want to bring in a class like that every year.
Right.
But that's where we had to go to start this program and coming back to doing things the right way.
Let's pick out a name that a year ago I interviewed at this time, and he was a highly celebrated Stark County football player, Federal League player, who then had some injury problems, unfortunately, because he's a great kid and he's a heck of a player, Matt Blaziola from Lake. How is Matt doing? First, describe the injuries he had happened, because I must be a jinx. Maybe I noticed you don't have any players here with you this time. It's like, keep them away from Jeske. They come on the show and they go out and get hurt after he talks about how great they're going to have of a season. Matt's a tremendous talent. How's he doing?
Well, one, he's a great young man. He's a great student. Comes from a talented, rich tailback, running back offense in Lake. Last year he hurt his knee. They did an MRI, and the MRI came back as a positive for ACL tear. But his dad works in the business, in the physical therapy business, said this can't be. So we held him out. They held him out a couple weeks, and he broke his leg at the end. He still had almost 1,000 yards. Played on the broken leg for a game and a half, and just couldn't go anymore. We held him out of spring ball. He was there for the mental reps, and because we changed offenses. So we were there. He was there for the mental reps and that, and then studied the game. And then about 3 weeks ago, he was cleared for full go, full contact. We're going to be very smart with him in the fall, so that when we approach Taylor, he's 100%.
Is there a clear starter at quarterback this year? If so, who it is?
Well, right now it's Johnny Iacucci. He played a lot last year. He's a returner. He's a returner. He knows the offense. He's picked it up real well. But we've brought in 4 freshman quarterbacks that are really pushing. And once again, as you know, competition. I'm big into competition. Makes you better. And he's really working hard. He's a great leader. He knows what he's doing. He's a mature kid and just a great young man. So he's up there right now at number 1. But we have 4 or 5 freshmen pushing him, and they're working hard every day to make him better and to make themselves better. And so right now, it's a game. We're working on competition, and someone's going to come out the leader, and someone's second, and after that we'll have to decide if we redshirt or what we do with the other freshmen.
Speaking of freshman quarterbacks, the fella that got hurt this morning, Cameron Ingram, that you hope it's not serious.
Yes.
That's a big-time talent from a major program. You said George Hill, one of his best friends, one of the most highly regarded running backs in the country a year ago.
Yeah, George was on campus the other day. When Cam moved in, George came with him on campus. They're best of friends. In fact, Cam's going to wear number 4 because George had the health injuries at Pitt, had the heart problem at Pitt, and he's going to be at Pitt. And we have a close connection with the Pitt program because Pat Narduzzi played for me back in the day, and I played for his father. And so one of the things our coaches try to do is we want kids that know how to win. And, when you're trying to turn something around, like we're going to turn this around, we want. And Hubbard is a winning program. They know how to win. They know it's not going to be easy. They have good work habits. So, but George was on campus the other day. So,
what was the goal of this recruiting class? In addition to getting the sheer numbers up, was it speed? Was it strength power?
There was one area we felt fairly comfortable with was defensive line. We thought if we could bring in 1 or 2 defensive linemen, we'd be okay. Other than that, we thought we needed depth at the offensive line. And we brought in. We have 21 offensive linemen now. Last year we had about 8 or 9. So we brought in 21 offensive linemen. That was huge because I still think I'm still old school enough to think that you win and lose with the offensive and defensive lines. And then the other was to bring in speed. In fact, I had a recruit tell me the first recruiting visit we had when I took over. We showed the highlight film, and he come walking down the steps and he goes, "Coach," he goes, "You get those highlights, but everybody's getting caught from behind." And I said, "Yeah, that happens sometimes." But we wanted to get more speed, so that's where we targeted speed. And then linemen.
A lot of Ohio, but a little sprinkling of a national class, including big time, a lot of kids in Florida.
One of the things that our main recruiting area is going to be obviously Northeast Ohio. We're going to start in Stark County. First thing we did was go to all the Stark County schools. We've already been out to all of them again this year. We're going to start in Stark County and spread, but we're going to recruit Ohio, Pittsburgh area, and Detroit. That's our main. That's where we're concentrating on. We're always sending someone down to Florida because there's just a lot of speed down there that kids can get overlooked. And then the national recruiting is more of a fit recruiting. Someone looking for a small Christian university, and if we fit the bill, we fit it for them. We'll recruit that way too. But we're not sending people out to those areas. We're doing that by internet, recruiting services and that type of stuff.
Talking with Fred Thomas, the new head football coach, was an assistant a year ago, a 16-year assistant at Walsh University with Jim Dennison, and longtime high school coach. Fred, when you and I originally knew you were the head coach at Glen Oak in those days, and everything goes around, comes around. You guys are going to be playing your games this year as they continue to improve the situation at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You'll be at Glen Oak this year.
Yeah, that's exciting. Coach Garcia was on my staff, so he was our defensive line coach. He was on our staff, which was pretty neat. In fact, I just got off the phone with him this morning, and we've been friends for a long time. And I think it's one of the nice things about being home. I'm friends with all the Stark County schools, so hopefully down the road that'll help us in the recruiting.
That's got to. I got to ask you about one kid. You mentioned 21 linemen coming in, offensive. I'm a Massillon homer, Fred. You know that. So Michael Grimaldi, man, does Michael have a chance in 21 names? Can he get noticed?
Yeah, I think right now Michael's doing real well. If we were to drive on a bus today, he'd be on the bus. He'd be traveling. He came in. He picked up all of his assignments real well. He's a good physical football player. We're real happy with Michael right now where he stands, and he's doing a great job. So right now, you might see him in a rotation early in his career. I think it's exciting.
The other Masson question I got to ask you, because someone will beat my face if I don't, so I better. J.D. Crabtree, his situation, he's got to wait a year. What's his situation?
Because of the transfer rule, the NCAA transfer rule, he'll have to sit out a year, and then after that year, he'll be eligible to play 3. Because he was a student at another university last year.
Have you seen the tape on his game-winning touchdown against Glen Oak a couple of years ago?
Yes, I did. Yes, and I saw
I'd give him a scholarship on that one, right there.
And he's allowed to practice, so I saw him at practice today, and he did a nice job. So once again, we just have to wait, and he'll practice with us, learn the system, but he'll be eligible after this season.
Him and Blaziola are 2 peas in the same pod with that effort stuff, the toughness.
Very, very tough kids, work hard. We're very fortunate, we only have 49, 50 upperclassmen, but they're great kids and they work hard. And Blas is one of our leaders, and it rubs off. It really does. The work habits are pretty good right now.
I can't wait to see them. I can't wait to get to know your kids. Of course, with Clint Scroggs coming on next hour, we'll learn more about details, some of the teams, some of the units of your football team. Fred Thomas, all the best to you. Thanks for spending time with us.
Thank you very much.